This is Ali, and this is Abu. No, they are not brothers, but can you believe it? They are actually partners. Well, partners for their own company business. When they first started their business, they agreed to share the profit equally between them. And then the business seems to prosper more and more, and they gained a lot of profit. However, Ali is a very greedy man. He never seemed to get enough and was never satisfied. So he threatened to kidnap Abu's children if Abu doesn't want to increase his share of the profit. Abu was very scared and was not willing to take the risk, so he signed the contract. Abu knew that this is not right, but he didn't know what to do. So, he sought the help from his lawyer friend to advise him whether he can revoke the contract.
This is Mary speaking. I am the one who Abu called and asked assistance for. Okay, here is what I can say about his situation. According to the Section 10 of the Contract Act 1950, all agreements are contract if they are made by free consent. However, what exactly is free consent? Under Section 13, free consent is defined when two or more persons are said to consent when they agree upon the same thing in the same sense. Section 14 further explains that consent must be free and not caused by. In other words, free consent is when two or more persons voluntarily and willingly agree to enter into a contract without being forced or threatened by another party. As clarified in Section 13, one of the examples of contract entered not by free consent is coercion, which is what happened in the case of Abu and Ali. Section 15 provides that coercion is an act of committing or threatening to commit any act forbidden by penal code, unlawful detaining or threatening to detain property to the prejudice of any person with intention to cause the person to enter into an agreement. So, what is the effect of contract entered by coercion? According to Section 19, when consent to an agreement is caused by coercion, the agreement is voidable at the option of the parties whose consent was so caused. Since he chose to revoke the contract, he shall restore the benefit to the person from whom it was received in accordance to the Section 65. This means the share of the company's profit will be divided equally again, like they had initially agreed on.
One day, Sarah was driving home from work, but before she could reach home, boom! She was involved in a tragic car accident. Although her car was a total loss, fortunately, she got the chance to live another day. However, her brain was partly damaged, and this has caused her to have amnesia. Upon hearing the news, her brother Rahim was very sad. But then he got an idea. He saw this as an opportunity to influence Sarah to sell her motorcycle to him, which he has been desiring for all his life. He thinks that motorcycle is very valuable and he would like to own it. So, making use of Sarah's mental vulnerability, Rahim asked Sarah to sell the motorcycle to him at 13,000 ringgit. Oblivious of the truth, Sarah signed the contract. Throughout the year, Sarah has been going to therapy and treatment at the hospital to try and recall her lost memories. She has been doing a lot of mental exercises as suggested by her doctors. Many months later, she suddenly recovered her memories. She remembered everything again and was super overjoyed about the exciting news. She also remembered the memory of how she never wanted to sell her motorbike. Upon this, she decided to bring the case to the court and see if she can revoke the contract. To explain about Section 10, 13, and 14, we will replay what Mary has said in the previous situation.
According to the Section 10 of the Contract Act 1950, all agreements are contract if they are made by free consent. However, what exactly is free consent? Under Section 13, free consent is defined when two or more persons are said to consent when they agree upon the same thing in the same sense. Section 14 further explains that consent must be free and not caused by. In other words, free consent is when two or more persons voluntarily and willingly agree to enter into a contract without being forced or threatened by another party.
Section 13 clarifies the examples of the contract entered not by free consent, and one of them being undue influence, which is what happened in the case of Sarah and her brother Rahim. Section 16 explains that undue influence happens where one of the parties to a contract entered into such contract by influence of the other party who was able to influence. Section 16 Clause 1 provides that undue influence happens when the relation subsisting between the parties is in a position to dominate the will of the other and uses that position to obtain an unfair advantage over the other. For relations subsisting between the parties, Section 16 Clause 2, Clause A, and Clause B gives three circumstances whereby a party is deemed to be in a position to dominate the will of another. First, when a person holds a real or apparent authority, for example, the relationship between master and servant, or police officer and the accused, or employer and employee. Second, when a person stands in fiduciary relation to the other. Fiduciary relation means a mutual trust and confidence. For example, relationship between a father and a son, or a doctor and a patient. Third, when a person makes a contract with a person whose mental capacity is temporarily or permanently affected by reason of age, illness, or mental or bodily distress. In the current case, Rahim is definitely deemed to be in a position to dominate Sarah's will. This is because Rahim is not just the older brother of Sarah, but he also uses Sarah's mental weakness to influence her into entering a contract. This consequently results in the domination of will. Due to this domination of will by Rahim towards Sarah, Rahim has received an unfair advantage when he successfully made Sarah sell her motorbike that she never intended to sell. The legal effect of contract due to undue influence is explained under Section 20, whereby the contract is voidable, meaning Sarah has the right to choose whether she wants to stay in the contract or rescind it. Since Sarah chooses to rescind the contract, she shall restore the benefit to the person from whom it was received, as explained in Section 65. Therefore, Rahim needs to return the motorcycle to Sarah, and the money received by Sarah needs to be returned to Rahim.